Wonderful to have you all streaming in. It's Sunday morning and we're together to gather in worship, even in a time of distance and pandemic and stress. Our community is strong because we have this chance to ground ourselves in the things that really matter to us and in the presence of each other and in everything that is holy. So welcome. Good morning. There are some of you who might be new to us. So glad you found us. A progressive and inclusive spiritual community that is dedicated to celebrating life, empowering people, caring for one another, and helping to build a better world. It makes it easier to find out what's going on here if you like our Facebook page or get on our email list for the newsletter, which you can do by calling the office. We hope you will find a home among us as we wait to be together again in person. All kinds of good things happening in spite of everything here. Most notably, one more project to try and influence the seemingly interminable 2020 election, which is to say, get some folks out to vote in Georgia who might not otherwise get out to vote. And many of you were part of our postcard writing campaign, which actually focused on Georgia as well as Texas the last time around. Your Borders and Beyond team, a group of folks who are dedicated to improving the plight of immigrants at the Mexican border throughout the country, have stocked up another 100 packets of 20 postcards each with addresses and instructions and stamps, everything you need. If you want to swing by the Glazer Center this week and pick up some for yourself or your friends, we want to see how quickly we can send another 2,000 postcards. If we do it in a hurry, like a real hurry, maybe we'll get some more, but we have to get them mailed out from the 1st through the 7th of December. So if you want to try and tip the scales in Georgia, come on down and get some postcards. And thanks to the Borders and Beyond team for putting it together. Our diversity project, which is a group of folks out of the Advocates for Social Justice, are going to be hosting another diversity dialogue. Wonderful, well-attended events that we used to have here in person. We'll do the next one on Zoom. If you are a parent of a child of color or a grandparent or caregiver, however you want to see that, I would ask you to contact Stacia Okura or Leslie Norinsky, who is here for sure. If you're a parent or a grandparent of children of color, we'd like to hear you in our next diversity dialogue. Steady reminder, if you're not signed up with a neighborhood group, you should be. Call the office and let's make sure you're connecting that way. Some of those groups are really thriving, others less so, but it's a good way for us to check on each other and stay connected. Newsletter will be out today or tomorrow. Take a close look in particular at the holiday worship schedule. We're going to worship on Christmas Eve with all of the other North Bay UU congregations like we did back there at the revival. So we'll have lots of great music. That'll be at 7 o'clock on Christmas Eve. It's Thanksgiving weekend and gratitude is the theme of today's service. So I just want to say thank you. I could say thank you to everybody, but it's been a really hard time for all of us. And lots of people are working hard to keep the ship afloat, keep us connecting, and actually keep us dreaming of the future that's sure to come and be better for us. Your board and all the people who are implementing the realm system and our late chaplains. Jane DeYoung is reinventing stewardship and financial committees. We got the nice folks, Gretchen and Susan Thallag and Paul Brockman, who are keeping us safe here in the building. All you neighborhood facilitators, all you Soul Matters group facilitators, the Adult Education Committee, awesome. Era, Kaylee, everybody in RE keeping the parents connected and the kids content as much as possible. Hats off to you, to everybody who rocks the Saturday breakfast program. The Andersons who are here, all the other captains, Ethan who shops and John Ray who runs it all. Bows, thousands of bows to music coordinators who are bringing us a steady stream of wonderful music, and the worship associates, Roger for his playing, Sadie, the choir. Am I done yet? No. Michael Bingham, who's always here, makes videos for us overnight if we need them. The ops team who keep the building going, and Peter Wilson who keeps it clean, and Kenyatta and Laura here in the office, and you, most of all you, because you're here, which lets me worship with you on a Sunday morning, which makes me happy and strong. And thank you for that. And thank you for supporting the congregation financially. Thank you for staying safe. And thank you for reaching out to one another, which I invite you to do. Please pick up the directory and call 1 or 2 people from the congregation this week just to stay high, and let's keep our bond tight. Okay, that's all the announcements. We have a wonderful prelude for you from Robert Hausman and others. And Nina, pay close attention. This one's for you.
1, 2, 3, 4.
When we get together and all our friends are here, our favorite friends, our favorite foods, everybody wears their favorite moves. Nobody gets too dressed up or puts on a lot of fuss. So pull up a chair, let down your hair, sit down and hang around with us. 'Cause we're happy to be here, and what do you know? We're gonna sing till it's time to go. We'll sing the old songs, all that we know, and then we'll do it one more time. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. This little light of mine, I'm gonna let it shine. Let it shine, let it shine, let it shine. And we're happy to be here, what do you know? We're gonna dance till it's time to go. We'll swing our partners and do-si-the-do, and then we'll do it one more time. Say, have you seen the karaoke? It's not a foxtrot or a polka. And when you dance it with a new love, there'll be true love in her eyes. We're happy to be here, what do you know? We're gonna whistle till it's time to go. We'll pucker our 2 lips and give them a blow, and then we'll do it one more time. Yes, we're happy to be here, and what do you know? We're gonna laugh till it's time to go. We'll stand up our ha-has all in a row, and then we'll do it one more time. And that was the very last time. One more time! And that was the very last time.
Our chalice lighting words today are by Albert Schweitzer. While I read them, Reverend Chris will light the chalice, and you may join him by lighting a chalice at home if you wish. At times, our own light goes out and is rekindled by a spark from another person. Each of us has cause to think with deep gratitude of those who have lighted the flame within us.
For all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good. And may for needs which others serve, for services we give, for work and its rewards, for hours of rest and love, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for sorrow we must bear, for failures, pain, and loss, for each new thing we learn, for fearful hours that pass, we come with praise and thanks. For all that is our life, for all that is our life, we sing our thanks and praise. For all life is a gift, which we are called to use, to build the common good, and make our own days glad.
We'll now read together our opening words. This beautiful reading from Reverend Eugene Pickett, a former president of the denomination. Eric and I will read the bold in alternating, and we'll all together read the italics. If you'd like to join in, you can join in however you like. We give thanks this day for the expanding grandeur of creation, worlds known and unknown, galaxies beyond galaxies, filling us with awe and challenging our imaginations. We give thanks.
Give thanks this day for this fragile planet Earth, its times and tides, its sunsets and seasons. We give thanks this day.
For the joy of human life, its wonders and surprises, its hopes and achievements. We give thanks this day.
For our human community, our common past and future hope, our oneness transcending all separation, our capacity to work for peace and justice in the midst of hostility and oppression. We give thanks this day.
We give thanks this day. For high hopes and noble causes, for faith without fanaticism, understanding of views not shared. We give thanks this day.
For all who have labored and suffered for a fairer world, who have lived so that others might live in dignity and freedom.
We give
thanks this day.
For human liberty and sacred rights, for opportunities to change and grow, to affirm and choose. We give thanks
this day.
We
pray
not by our fears, by our hopes, not by our words,
but by our deeds.
While each person is worthwhile, to be kind in all you do. Free, let's help each other grow, for keep searching for the true. 5, each person has a say. 6, for a peaceful world. 7, unravel that's the way that will bring us back to you.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome back to Time for All Ages. My name is Capone, and I am so happy to be here with you all today. This morning in RE, we talked a bit about Thanksgiving and the real history behind it. To be completely honest, this was a bit of a difficult subject to broach. I know that lots of people, including myself, struggle to share harsh truths with children for fear of taking away wonder and innocence in those things that we hold so valuable at that age. At the same time, it's important for us adults to be honest with children and to show them that truth matters. I think we as a society have very recently seen what happens when the value of truth is degraded. During our conversation, we talked about why it's harmful to tell a lie and what can happen to those who the lie is about. The kids brought up ideas of hiding bad things as good or hiding good things as bad, and the harm it can cause in their own lives and in the lives of others. However, telling the truth is not enough. In an attempt to right some of the harms that have been laid upon the Native and Indigenous communities for centuries, we must not only advocate for truth, but also elevate voices that have been silenced. That is why today in RE, we read the story Otsaliheliga by Traci Sorell. Otsaliheliga, which is the Cherokee word used to express gratitude, is a story about giving and giving thanks, not just during November, but throughout the entire year. It's a way for us to hear about gratitude through the lens of those who have been silenced for years. So please join the RE kids in celebrating blessings and reflecting on struggles as we listen to Otsaliheliga. We are grateful. Today we are reading the story, We Are Grateful, Otsaliheliga. It's the Cherokee word that shows gratitude and thanks. Otsaliheliga. And now, Cherokee people say Otsaliheliga to express gratitude. It is a reminder to celebrate our blessings and reflect on struggles daily throughout the year and across the seasons. Uligohazdi is the fall or autumn, when cool breezes blow and leaves fall. We say Otsaliheliga.
That's weird. That is weird.
As shell shakers dance all night around the fire and burnt cedar's scent drifts upwards during the great new moon ceremony, as we clean our houses, wear new clothes, enjoy a feast, and forget old quarrels to welcome the Cherokee New Year. While we collect buckbrush and honeysuckle to weave baskets, to remember our ancestors who suffered hardship and loss on the trail of tears, and have hope as our Elise, grandma, cradles the newest member of the family and reveals his Cherokee name. Gola is winter. As bears sleep deep and snow blankets the ground, we say Otsaliheliga.
That's weird. Totally.
While elders share stories and we savor buttery bean bread and steamy hominy soup. When we feed our animal and bird friends. As older children teach the younger ones how to make corn husk dolls and play cane flutes. While we gather to remember an uncle who has passed on. as men cuddle babies and sing traditional lullabies in Jaligi, Cherokee.
Just their language. It's not weird. Yes, it is.
Gogeyi is spring, when showers fill streams and shoots spring up. We say Otsaliheliga. While men sing asking for thunder and lightning's protection of the emerging sprouts that the women tend. As we gather wild onions, spring's first food, and serve them with hen's eggs.
I think he knows Spanish.
As we practice patience to sew pucker toe moccasins and coil clay to build beautiful pots. As we plant ani, strawberries, an ancestral story's sweet-smelling reminder not to argue with each other. As we embrace a clan relative heading off to serve our country. Gogi is summer. As the crops mature and the sun scorches, we say Otsaliheliga. When we grasp our gigs and wade into the cool creek to catch crawdads for supper, as we sink our teeth into the season's first harvest at the green corn ceremony, while we click-clack sticks, chase a small ball, and fling it high at the stickball game pole. When we recall the ancestors' sacrifice to preserve our way of life. To celebrate Nulistani Dola, history, and listen to our tribal leaders speak at Cherokee National Holiday. Every day, every season, Otsaliheliga, we are grateful. Thank you, everyone, for listening to that story. I was wondering now if everyone could unmute before we start and just say together, shout out whatever it is you're thankful for right now. So I'm going to count. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, and you're going to shout something you're thankful for. Ready? 1, 2, 3.
My wife.
Universe.
So thank you, everyone, for joining us in that story and that celebration of gratitude for baseball games and Christmas and all sorts of things. Before we go, let's do our unison affirmation. We are Unitarian Universalists, people of the open minds, the loving hearts, and the helping hands. Thank you.
So cute.
Thanks, Era. We'll take a moment here briefly in our service to remind everyone that we support outside causes and internal causes with our financial contributions, as well as sustaining this building and the staff of the community and so forth. So we lift up this great virtue of generosity in the midst of a service, and ask today that you give as much as you are able or called to do to our Saturday breakfast program. Pretty much everything's having to be bought and given out each day. We want to make sure that there's plenty to send everyone home with good sandwiches, fruit in the bag, a drink, and some snacky things for later. And thanks to everybody who's keeping the breakfast going, which is really like a breakfast time lunch giveaway, but so it is. And it costs a good amount of money. And if you'll go to our website, click Give Now, and follow the instructions from there, you'll be able to make a gift. And if you'd like to make a donation to the community here at the same time, it is deeply appreciated. in anticipation of the giving we will do and are currently doing even as I speak. Let's read together this, our offering dedication. We say together, to the work of creating beloved community within and beyond our walls, we dedicate these offerings and ourselves. Thank you very much.
Good morning. I'm Paula Hammet, one of your lay chaplains. Milestones are where we share our joys and sorrows with the congregation. You're invited to light a candle to remember those you are holding near to your hearts. These are the milestones for this week. Richard Fung shares that he will be starting a series of chemotherapy sessions again on December 7th. Positive energy and prayers are appreciated. From Shayna Billings, we are happy we can spend Thanksgiving with our son Alex, who's in the Navy. We haven't seen him in over a year and may not see him again for another couple of years as he will be stationed in Japan. Mary Wolf is grateful for everyone's kind words when she received the Community Services Hero Award through her job. On another note, she asked that we please send healing energy to her friend Reverend Lee Turner, who's the minister at Community Baptist Church, who is quarantined due to being exposed to COVID. Jamie Kerr shares, one of my brothers, Jim, has been diagnosed with a rare form of leukemia, commonly seen in veterans who are exposed to Agent Orange. Jim had a leg blown off in Vietnam and has been an avid bicyclist and the picture of health until last week. He is quite ill and hospitalized in Southern California. Please send healing light to this loving soul. From Carol Weisker, recently a longtime friend, Jackie Rebstock, passed away. She'd had several medical compromises lately. We'd been friends since at least 1965. We made a road trip from here to Key West, Florida in her T-Bird. What adventures we had. It was because of her that I went to Germany to teach for 24 years. She was a great influence in my life, and I will miss her dearly. If you have something to share with all or a private concern to talk over with the lay chaplain, please contact us at laychaplains@uusantarosa.org. We give thanks for the sharing of these milestones, for how they remind us of our shared humanity and common fate, and inspire our compassion and care. May all our joys be magnified as we delight together in the good news. May all our sorrows be eased as we carry them together in community. May you who are searching for courage, comfort, faith, and hope find what you seek. And may all people grow in wisdom, compassion, and love, that the whole world might live with justice and in peace. Take care and be well.
We're going to carry that prayer into a time of silence together now. Those separated together in spirit and sitting, listening, opening our hearts and our minds to where the Spirit may lead us and to the blessings and beauty of the world. So make yourself comfortable and enjoy 3 minutes of stillness. You've earned it. A gift of presence of oneself and each other and of the Holy Spirit of life, to whom we say thank you for this day and this gift of life, for another day alive, another day of crisp air and long shadows and falling leaves, another day of leftovers, another day of connecting with family and friends however we are able, and another day of worry and sorrow and struggle as we face health challenges ourselves or witness them in people we love nearby, as we witness this great heaving struggle that our world is going through now with the pandemic, leading us to offer up prayers of strength and courage, particularly for all who are out there in front, in stores and services, and particularly in the medical profession. May you all stay safe, and may we all emerge unharmed. We are praying for everything that is necessary for this time to end and the days we are dreaming of to come. In the meantime, let us each not lose faith or hope. Let us remain connected to each other, to the world around us, continuing to find ways to bring peace and make justice and turn aside from ways of oppression and wrongdoing, including in ourselves, including to ourselves, acknowledging the ways we fall short and fail one another and ourselves, and forgiving ourselves and knowing that we are forgiven by the great spirit of love that pervades and enlivens all things. And so liberated, we take a deep breath and turn again to the future, toward what is needed to bring about the world of which we dream. May all beings be happy. May all beings be at ease. Amen and blessed be.
compasión sopla volar, sube en la mar hasta moldear la justicia de la vida. Stirrings of compassion blow in the wind, rise in the sea, move in the hand, giving life the shape of justice. Roots hold me close, wings set me free. Spirit of life, come to me, come to me.
In a year so full of stress, fear, and sorrow, finding gratitude sometimes feels like a distant shore still unseen in the storm around us. And yet, amid all of my anxiety and feelings of hopelessness, there are moments that I deeply appreciate, moments that are made more precious by what we're going through. It's easy to feel beaten down and hopeless when trauma after trauma has affected our daily lives during this extraordinary year. COVID threat, political danger, smoke and fire, economic distress. And yet, in this moment, I feel profoundly grateful for the people who dedicate their lives to medical research, whose work may give us an earlier than expected reprieve from the virus that threatens us all. And I'm immensely grateful for the men and women who risk their lives and their future well-being to protect us from the fires that now come every year. In this moment, I'm particularly grateful to be able to vote, to add my voice to the work of determining what the future of our communities and country will look like. I'm grateful that 80 million Americans chose to reject Donald Trump and all that he stands for. I'm grateful that they chose as a leader an even-tempered, honorable man to dig us out of the mess we're in, and chose a brilliant woman vice president to lead us into the future. I'm grateful every day for people like Stacey Abrams, who spends her life working to empower others. I'm grateful for the lawyers and political leaders at all levels of government who care about the Constitution of our country, flawed as it may be, and are working right now to protect us from attempts to subvert the democratic process. I am grateful for the work of many journalists who bring truth and understanding to the events swirling around us. And for these and many other things, I give thanks. Our Thanksgiving ritual for the past 12 years or so, I'm told maybe it's closer to 15, but long time, has been to gather with the Noe family at either their house or ours. Barry Noe is a longtime UU known to many of you. Often, there were added friends and family members, and there was a predictable flow of food and walks, talking with each other, checking in to see how lives were changing. Though it was a lot of shared work to prepare for, it was also a wonderful moment of slowing down to reconnect during everybody's busy lives. Before eating, it was our practice to go around the table and each offer what we were grateful for in that moment. Always a little awkward to say, but it seemed that most of us, that most of what we were grateful for was each other. This year, we were not together. To stay safe, we gathered in our own homes and carried on the rituals separately. I miss them. In that missing, I found something important to be grateful for. The 12 years that we chose to become a larger family for a day. In this moment of danger, perhaps what we took for granted stands in deepest contrast. As our smaller family met, I was feeling both loss and gratitude for the Noes and all the other personal connections we've had to put on hold during this most difficult year.
When I'm worried and I can't sleep, I count my blessings instead of sheep, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. When my bankroll is getting small, I think of when I had none at all, and I fall asleep counting my blessings. I think about a nursery and I picture curly heads, and one by one I count them as they slumber in their beds. If you are worried and you can't sleep, just count your blessings instead of sheep, and you'll fall asleep counting your blessings.
Happy Thanksgiving, everybody. And thank you again for sharing in this service. I know Thanksgiving is kind of an odd holiday. Certainly, as Era was pointing out so wonderfully in the framing of that story that they offered, it is rooted in a myth that most of us know is not even close to true. This happy story of friendly Wampanoags inviting their European trespassers to a friendly and happy meal to celebrate the bounty of nature. There are many different places you can read about what really went down there. I might steer you toward David J. Silverman's book, This Land is Their Land, where he dispenses with almost all of the myths that we were taught as grade school children about that story. In particular, that it was like the first contact, between these peoples. There'd actually been a lot of European presence on that northeastern seaboard for some decades that had been bloody and conflicted and involved the gathering of slaves and so forth. By the time the Pilgrims arrived, he discovered at least 2 of the Wampanoags already spoke English. I did not know that. Indeed, one had already been to Europe and knew just what the Pilgrims were up to there. Fact is that feast was a gathering of the Wampanoags and the Pilgrim settlers in order to forge a military alliance against the Narragansetts, with whom the Wampanoags were having a quite extended conflict. And that's not something they tell you. Nevertheless, that story came to be transformed and sanitized and told to us down through the years, actually starting many, many years later after Thanksgiving was established as a national holiday. That first feast of the Wampanoags and the Pilgrims didn't result in any kind of ongoing holiday. In fact, things we call days of Thanksgiving were quite common, particularly in the northern colonies, though largely unheard of in the South, I learned. And they were actually more often days of fasting and prayer. They were days when you were supposed to slow everything down, not feast or celebrate abundance, but actually do a little bit of penance and give thanks for the good things. The god of those days was considerably grumpier than the one we like to be in relationship today with. The holiday became, many of you know this, I'm sure, a national holiday with a proclamation from Abraham Lincoln, but he's not really responsible for it. This part I also just learned. Sarah Josepha Hale, the author of Mary Had a Little Lamb, is actually the one who could be called the mother of Thanksgiving. She had been writing letters to try and get the holiday nationalized. Each state had their own. And like I said, the South didn't do much at all. She'd written letters for 17 years to Presidents Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, and Lincoln without persuading any of them. But in 1863, with the Civil War raging, Lincoln felt like a day of celebration and gratitude would be worthwhile. It's worth reading his proclamation, which of course you could find online. And this became our third national holiday after Washington's birthday and Independence Day. And it was actually after that that the Tourism Bureau of Plymouth, thinking not enough people were coming to look at that rather unimpressive rock on the shore there of Massachusetts, started to really beef up the tale of that original Thanksgiving. In recent years, the holiday has also been marred, I would say, ever more encroached upon by the commercialism that has nearly ruined Christmas. I thought that was a new thing. It's not. Here's another thing I learned about Thanksgiving. In 1939, FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, broke with the tradition of it being the final Thursday in the month. There happened to be 5 Thursdays in 1939, and he declared the 4th Thursday as Thanksgiving rather than the 5th one. And the reason was that because the country was in the Depression, he wanted an extra week of Christmas shopping. So it goes all the way back to 1939, when the folks that owned Macy's convinced Roosevelt to push it forward a week to extend the shopping season. Things have been going downhill ever since. But what's kind of funny is that at the time, the Republicans decried the change, calling it an affront to the memory of Lincoln. I'm reading from Wikipedia now. And people began referring to November 30th that year as the Republican Thanksgiving, and November 23rd as the Democratic Thanksgiving, or even Franksgiving. So I guess those battles around the Thanksgiving table about politics are not new either. Surely this Thanksgiving was one of the hardest we've had, and its origins and strangeness notwithstanding, I was so grateful to celebrate it. It is, in spite of all of those things, still one of my favorite holidays. One day where, wherever it comes from, we are simply invited to truly pause and deeply consider what we have to be thankful for. And you might be thinking even of this service. Yeah, so what's with a whole nother service on gratitude? We did that on Thursday. But my point is, of course, it's not the sort of thing we should just do on one day. In fact, it's something we should do every day. Maybe it's something we should do every day, all the time, about everything. The deep teaching of the spiritual traditions of the world is that what we have to be thankful for, in fact, is nothing less than everything. Everything, this whole universe upon which we are dependent and within which we are inexorably connected. We are one with something larger than our minds can even conceive. We should be thankful every day for the joys and blessings that come our way, and we can, if we try, come to be thankful even for our hardships and our sufferings and the way they open us up and the way they represent life as it actually is and life as we actually are, the loving of which is the whole point of human life. We gathered, some of us, on Thanksgiving, thanks to Zoom, and it was so good to hear, even as we were sad not to be together. Many folks would have been here in this building on Thanksgiving Day. Last year we had 70 people eating turkey and every other good thing together. Couldn't do it this year, but still feeling so thankful just for the connections of family and friends, and for the simple blessings of food and shelter, and for Zoom. Everybody said, I'm thankful for Zoom. We love to hate it, but man, where would we be without it? Because we get to still see each other and be connected in this way. Although I will be so glad and never take for granted again the pleasures of handshakes and hugs and walking around without a mask and smiling at pedestrians and not having to smile only with your eyes, and not constantly having to make risk assessments about doorknobs and food. The day will come. On Thanksgiving, I was also very grateful to spend time with a good friend who's in my pod, and we were sharing a deep conversation, and the question came up, what is your greatest accomplishment? And her answer is kind of ringing in my ears still, and it was throughout her whole life that she had never failed to look for the good. And this was coming out of a spirit of reflecting on what we were grateful for and appreciative of. And I felt very appreciative of that, to never have given up the faith or the trust that in the midst of what life gives us, one, that all things can be turned to the good, and also that amidst whatever sorrows we're experiencing, there are good things that are also happening. And if we adopt a practice of looking around for what we might be thankful for what those blessings are and where the good is every day, we can hold to that faith and trust and live happier and more useful lives. In our Zen tradition, my Zen tradition, we have a couple of koans that poke people. One says, every day is a good day. And the other one, in response to a question of why there's so much sorrow and suffering in the world, yields the answer, it is all for your benefit. It is all for your benefit. Now, these are challenging notions, and that quest to see the good at all times is also challenging. It doesn't take any effort for us to think of things that were horrible, that happened to us or that are happening to the world around us, that happened to peoples, that happened, that we did even. I just would immediately think of my own mother's death, which came so suddenly and so much sooner than I wished that it would. Are we to find the good in that? Are we to give thanks for that? That's not exactly it, right? There's nothing about that experience that felt good. And I can't say it was good. I would never say it was good that she died when and how she did. But I can see from the way it broke my heart and made me understand better the loss that many of you have gone through. The way that it brought me closer to my sister. The way it deepened my determination to carry family traditions forward. That good could come out of it. In every situation, I truly believe there's meaning to be made and there are things to learn. And even the hardships we can give thanks for the way they pulverize our egos and force us to recognize our dependence upon the whole and upon each other. And particularly the hard times and the way that people I was blessed enough to feel standing by and taking care in a way I had never felt before. And when I open my heart even to those sad situations and try and find the good and try and count my blessings, I feel thankful. And I also feel like I want to be a blessing to the world. I want to be a blessing to you in your hard times. Meister Eckhart, the great mystic, once said, if you only say one prayer in your life and it is thank you, you will have said enough. That it really is the essence of the spiritual life to receive and give in a spirit of gratitude for what truly is. And the secret to the practice, I think I have discovered, is not just to like feel grateful, it's to say it. It's to say it out loud. Listened to a wonderful TED talk from a Sri Lankan monk, Jaya Sri Mata. And she told a story of trying to deal with the coronavirus pandemic in her country, which was raging at the time, and the despair and fear that was all around her and in her. And she came across a mantra that she said planted something beautiful in her mind and blossomed her, a monk, into a whole new way of being. And those two words were thank you, out loud, as a mantra, all day. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And so my invitation to you as we move from this Thanksgiving weekend is to do it. Do it for an hour at the end of this service. Scroll through the contacts in your phone and say thank you, thank you, thank you to everyone. Say thank you to everything in your house. Say thank you to your lunch. And come back for coffee hour at 12:30 and let's talk about what that experience feels like. Thank you. Thank you for being my community. And thank you for being such a deep blessing to one another. And if the secret is say it out loud, let's do so. In fact, let's sing it out loud. We're going to sing together. I've got my guitar here. The words to Oh, We Give Thanks are going to appear there on the screen. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the hope we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day, for those gathered here and those far away, for the time we share with love and care. Oh, we give thanks for this precious day.
Our closing words are by Rebecca Del Rio. Let's see, can you?
They're right there on the screen.
Yeah, okay. Gratitude means showing up on life's doorstep, love's threshold, dressed in a clown suit, rubber-nosed, gunboat shoes flapping. Gratitude shows up with arms full of wildflowers, reciting McEwen or the worst of Neruda. To talk of gratitude is to be the fool in a cynic's world. Gratitude is pride's nightmare, the admission of humility before something given without expectation or attachment. Gratitude tears open the shirt of self-importance, scatters buttons across the polished floors of feigned indifference, ignores the obvious and laughs out loud. Even more, gratitude bares her breasts, rips open her ribs to show the naked heart, the holy heart. What if that sacred heart is not, after all, about sacrifice? Imagine it is about joy, barefoot and foolhardy, something unasked for, something unearned. What if the beat we hear when we are finally quiet is simply this: thank you, thank you, thank you.